Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our onboarding training webinar. I am so glad to be here today. I'm Samuel, the brand evangelist, also the host of YouTube and the podcast channels. We created this onboarding webinar for you because we care about you. It's not just about subscribing to the software, it's about how you can benefit, truly benefit from the software. The content we're sharing are all generated by you, actual user questions. I had to learn the software from the ground up, just like you. So if I can do it, I know that you can do it too. So right now, I want you to turn off all your other windows, and I want to open up the BQool software so that you can easily follow along. And I'm going to just tell you, some of the secrets of doing filters. The first step, you have added your costs. And you've set your mins and your maxes, and you picked a rule. You can start out with the AI equalizer, something that's within sales, that gives you good sales and also give you good profits. The next step is to filter your listings, and you're gonna do this on a regular basis. You're gonna do this maybe on a daily basis for some of the filters, and something on a weekly basis, and something on a monthly basis. So the important thing to know for the filters, I'm going to just share with you 3 important filters that you can use that's going to help your business. And the place to find the filters is back in the listing, is on the very left, right below the managed listing. And there's going to be a favorite filter there. And then you can actually open the favorite filter. So when you open the favorite filter, you're going to see the default filter in the very first one. And in the default filter, you can click on the little pointy arrow, and that's going to open up. And the important ones, you can look at the listings that are missing min price, or they're missing max price, or missing a rule, because these listings will not reprice because they need to have a min, they need to have a max, and there needs to be a rule as well. So for you to start repricing, this will pull in all the listings that are not currently repricing. So you can see all of these are paused. And then they're waiting for me to insert a min price, a max price, and a rule. And then so that's one of the first filters that you can use to see all the listings that are not repricing. And then another listing that's very important is to find out, which competitors, which listings that you have the competitor below mean. All of these listings, they are competitor below mean. And then so you're going to see this little mean button underneath here, right here. And then here you can actually see, it means that my competitor's minimum price is lower than you. What are you going to do when that happens? Because you're very unlikely to win the buy box. You're going to see that we're not winning the buy box for these listings because somebody has a lower price than I do. And then in this type of situation, you have a couple of options, right? You can lower your prices, but you might have already lowered your prices to the least that you can do. And then you can bundle the products with something else. You can put a more aggressive AI rule, or you're going to have to wait until the competitor sells out. So you can check if they still have stock, how many competitors have stock, and the number of competitors that there are. If there's a lot of competitors and this product has been sitting there for a while, then you might need to lower your prices for that because you might have that product for a long time and you want to get rid of that stock. Now, another filter to use, this is listings at the max. And that's also under the default filters. And these are the listings that are already at the max prices. You might be the only seller. You might be already winning the buy box a very high percentage. For those listings that you're winning the buy box and you're at the max, then you can actually increase the price of your max so that you can increase even more profits. So that's where the repricer really helps you. Because if you get $1 there, $1 there, over and over again for those listings, you're going to get back the money that you've invested into your repricer. And then so the next filter I want you to really check, and I want you to check this on a daily or also a weekly basis. This is in the bottom part. So that's the multiple variables. For the top part, the default filters, we've already done the presets for you for those filters. On the bottom part, you could actually pick more. And I'm just going to show you that right on my screen as well so that you can do that on your time here. Okay, this is where the missing prices are. This is where the below your competitor below mean, and then below your minimum price. And this is where your listings are your max price. This is where you find that. For the bottom part here, these are multi-variables that you can pick. So there's a lot of different options here. You can pick, which products are reprice enabled, which one is pause. You can pick that and it'll just pull everything up for you. You can also check which one has between 5 to 20. And we would recommend you, the best listing to use is between 5 to 20. That's when your repricer, especially the AI repricer, is going to have the most effect because it pulls in the top 20 into the system. And then the part I wanted to show you is this one, is the estimated profit. So I want you to go to the estimated profit and then put 0 here and then put search. And this is going to pull out all the listings that you're not making money. Okay, in our cases, all of our listings are making money so that you can see that nothing pulls up. You might have a number of listings that are actually not making money. So you can see right here on the chart here, these listings, they're not making money. They're not making money. Then what you need to do is you need to go and check. You got to go check your minimum price. Is your shipping set correctly? And then also, what are the costs? You want to make sure that you're not losing money for these listings, unless these are the listings that you want to liquidate. So it's very important to check that. Check the listings that have negative profits on a regular basis to make sure that you're not losing money. All right, let's go into the next slide. We're going to now show you how to do bulk, mins, max, and rule. So we first showed you how to set up the listing, and then we showed you how to import the cost from Inventory Lab. And now we're going to show you how to use bulk, set, mins, and max, and rule. All right, so in the software here, you can go to settings and you can click on preferences. And here you're going to be able to select how many listings to see per page. And here you have up to 500. You could actually set up to 500 listing per page. We recommend you to use 100 because that will give you the optimum speed. Okay, so I'm going to pick 100 here and I'm going to press save. So now when I see my listings, I'm going to see 100 of them at the same time. But for bulk setting, I can set, so you can see that 100 listings right here. I can do bulk settings and I can set all of these to a specific minimum, to a specific max, and I can also set a specific cost to them, and I can also set a rule to all of them using the bulk settings. Okay, so I'm going to use in our example, and of course I'm going to use a filter here. I'm going to go to the title, and then I want to find all the listings with camera cases. Okay, all the listings that I have with camera cases. So I type in camera here, and I press search. So that's another cool filter you could use. You could search the title of your listings. So these are all the camera cases I have. And I'm going to group these. So I'm going to put all of these. I'm going to go to bulk actions, and I'm going to add them to a group. Okay, so I'm going to add them to a group. And then once I add them to a group, I'm going to add them to the camera case group here. And then if I'm adding them to a new group, I'm just going to select new group here. Okay, I'm going to press save now. Now, once you've added them to a group, they're going to show up in the group right here under the favorite filters. Okay, so when I click on these listings are all going to appear. And then now I'm going to set the bulk settings. Okay, so I know that all my costs for these are very similar. And I want to do a bulk setting for the min and the max and the price. So again, I select all of the ones I want to set in bulk setting for that group. I go to bulk actions and I set min and max and then price and a rule. And then here, I can actually turn this on and this is going to use your price plus shipping. Your price plus shipping is the cost, your price in Amazon right now, plus the shipping fee that you're charging other people. And then you could also set it by costs or also by fixed price. But in our example, I'm going to use your price plus shipping. So your price plus shipping minus 50% on your price, and I'm going to set the max price, your price plus shipping plus 50%. And then I'm going to set them to all of them to a rule. And so I've turned these on for these 12 listings, and I'm just going to press save. And then now it's going to start running. So when it finished running, then I'm going to see how many of these listings it has worked. And usually it shouldn't take too long. It should take within an hour to get all of these listings up and running. And then so now I've just set all the min and the max prices and the rule for all of these listings at one go. And this bulk setting option, it's available if you're on the $50 plan. is a special benefit for the $50 or above plan. So that's some of the differences between the $25 and the $50 plan. Now, but you can still use this if on the $25 plan by adding them to a group. Okay, so you can still add to group, and you can also set the shipping price. Let's say I want to find out all the FBM products because I want to set my cost for my shipping for the FBM products. I'm going to select all of these, let's say in the camera cases, and then I'm going to pick the one here in fulfillment. I'm going to pick the FBM products here. I'm going to press search. All right, so I'm just going to let that run. Okay. Okay, this has searched all of my listings there, but you could actually also group them by here. There's actually different options you can pick here by the fulfillment type. So now I want to take all of these FBM and I want to set the cost for all of these FBM. So I'm going to select these and I'm going to use bulk actions and I'm going to press set costs. So here, I can set all of these listings to a specific shipping cost. Maybe that was $3 and then the additional was 0.50. Now you might have different shipping costs for different FBM products. Okay, so you could actually do this as a bulk setting to set the shipping costs here. And I'm going to just press save. Okay, so this has actually helped me set all of my shipping costs for those FBM. I could also use this to set to set all the costs for those listings that I've selected. All right, so if I'm not using inventory labs, there's several options. You can just insert them manually if you don't have a lot of listings. If you have a lot of listings, you could use the bulk set costs to get all of your costs in to help. Then you can set the min and the max. All right, let's go back into the training. So I want you to start thinking about any questions that you have, which you can put them in the group because we're going into the Q&A session really quickly. And I'm going to answer a couple of questions before I continue on into what everybody want to talk about, the repricing rules. That's where most of the questions come from today. And then another thing I want to show you before I get to the question, the Q&A part, is how do you set mins and max automatically from Amazon using the general settings for the new listings that you added. So what I just showed you in the bulk setting was for listings that's already in the BQool Repricing Central. Now I'm going to show you all the new listings that you add in Amazon and how you can automatically pull in and set the min and the max and also a rule in there for you. All right, so I'm in the software now, and then I'm going to go to settings and go back to general, and then I'm going to talk about the second section that I want to talk about here. So you could assign new default values to new listings. You could actually do that in the general settings. So to do that, you got to toggle this on. And then you can base your min price on your price plus shipping, costs, or a fixed price. In my example, I'm going to use your price plus shipping. If you use the cost one, then you need to also set the cost here. You need to set default costs as well, because you're not going to have costs in your Amazon Seller Central. It's not going to just pull in that for you. So here, if you have new listings, I'm using your price plus shipping. I'm going to turn this on again. For the max price, and I also set again at 50%. And make sure you also have the shipping set up here. So it's important to set the shipping for here. So if it's a FBM, I set it at $3. For additional costs, I put it at $0.50. For the FBA shipping price, I'm going to put it at 0 because usually you don't charge people for the FBA shipping cost. And then for the rule, I'm going to press on. I'm going to use the AI equalizer. Now, if you want to set your costs, then it really depends because if you have a lot of the similar type of products and your price plus shipping in Amazon, you use a very similar formula for all of them, then you could toggle this on and you could calculate the costs as well. Let's say at 50%. The ROI, if you put it at 50%, usually it's around 30% ROI, just for a reference for you. So here, I'm just going to toggle these on, and then I'm just going to press save. So now if there's new listings that come in from Amazon, then it's just going to go right in. And the way that I can check, I can just click on the listings on date created, and then this will actually use chronological order of the listings I've created in Amazon, the time I created it in there, and it's going to show me those listings that I come in. So a tip for you, what do you do on a daily or a weekly basis? If you're adding a lot of new listings to Amazon Seller Central, then you can set the general settings if most of your listings are very similar. And then once it pulls into the Repricing Central, you can go to the date created. You can check those listings. I recommend you to check it individually just to make sure your min price is set correctly, so you can maximize your profit. Next, let's go into another way that you can put your costs and min price and also a rule into. And then this is called the upload, the bulk upload. And then for the bulk upload, this is if you're on another repricer, okay? So you can download all those listings if you're using another repricer, and you can test it out on BQool. There's certain things that you need to fill out. It's optional, but you need to fill out your min price, your max price, and then you could also pick a rule. And then you could enable that right into using our template. But we have a separate video that's gonna show you exactly how to do the upload. This option is if you're a larger seller or if you already have your costs, you already have your min, you already have your max, you already have the formulas, and you just wanna import it in. So that's another way, and that's a very fast way that you can do this as well. Okay, so this is the first Q&A part. So the first question, the question here is, how is your service better than other ones? If it really hasn't worked for him, the other repricers he used, and how can it help my business and not just end up costing me money? So a lot of people, they have this question, whether it makes sense to invest into a repricer. Okay, the main difference, we have the AI repricer, and you can actually check the results, which I'm going to show you just in a bit. And you compare them with the other rules that you use to see how the AI rules perform. We also have rule-based rules, and we have multiple different support options. So the most important thing for you to know is we have the 5 AI repricing rules, which is really going to give you that flexibility to get sales and get more profits. It's much easier to use, and it's the most affordable AI repricer. You pay one flat fee. We're not charging you extra money when you grow your sales, let's say from 10,000 to 25,000 per year. So you can actually grow, we actually grow together. We're not additional cost for you. So once you invest, we only charge you by the active listings. So this is only when you're making money. So just to give you an example, let's say you're doing about $10,000 of sales. And then by using our AI repricer, it would actually increase your buy box maybe by, based on our studies, by about 12 to 20%. We'll use conservatively, let's say 10%. Okay, so that's gonna win the buy box for you 10% more than if you didn't use the repricer. And then let's say for the sales, you might have a little bit lower prices for the sales in some cases, conservatively. So let's say in total, you will increase your $10,000 sales to $10,800, let's say by 8%. So that additional $800 is coming in from that repricer. So it's a no-brainer for you to invest in a repricer because it's going to give you a lot more investment, and you can actually see how it works. And the best part, you can actually try it out risk-free with no credit card needed. So this is to answer your question, Jason. All right, now let's go to some of the questions. So Shane asked, basic setup, I tried BQool in the past for a month, and I found it wildly confusing. There's too many rules and options for each product. I would like to know the basic rules and settings for my products just to see how it performs for Q4. Okay, so our suggestion to Shane is, so we suggest you use the AI rules depending on whether you want to profit or sales. Then you could easily compare the results in the dashboard, which I'm going to show you guys in just a little bit how to do that. And you can see which AI rule works best, and you can use that. If you have a lot of stock, a lot of toys, then for Q4, then we recommend you to use the AI profit booster or the profit maximizer, so you can get more profits per unit. All right, the next question, is from Begum. He or she asks, what's the differences between the AI rules? Basically, for the AI rules, you can quickly accumulate orders and feedback. Like if you're a new seller, if you're a small seller and you want to just start selling products out, you want to get more feedback for your store, then you could use the AI sales maximizer. So you can use the more aggressive rule. You can use the AI equalizer for products that you have sourced competitively that you can make more profits from as well. Then for rule-based, if you're on the $25 plan, then you could use the target the lowest FBA price if you're at starting. But we do recommend you use the AI rules because you're really going to see a difference, and it's a lot easier to set up if you're a new seller. And then this is another question from Ahmed. So Ahmed asks, we are out of stock in doing wholesale. Most of the supplier rejecting accounts due to Amazon selling. Suppliers are also out of stock on products we order. And lastly, the price wars suck our profits and sales. In this situation, when you're out of stock, your price might need to be more competitive in order to win the buy box. But if you still have some stock left, then we can suggest you to use the AI profit maximizer. Wait for the others, because if there's a lot of people out of stock, then you can just actually sell it at a higher profit as well. Now, we also have the settings and general settings I showed you, which you could actually pause your repricing when you're out of stock, and you can set when you fulfill your stock, when you replenish your stock, you can set it back to a certain price that can help you to win the buy box when once you have the stock again. So that's to answer Ahmed's question. And this is from Antoine. Okay, Antoine asks, why sometimes the repricer is still at the lowest settled price when the other competitors are with a price that is much higher than me? And second, why don't you have an option to share or equalize the buy box? Okay, that's from Antoine. Okay, so our support team have checked their account, and we found out that you have fierce competition in your account, including Amazon. And you have other sellers who have much higher ratings than you, but they're selling their products at a lower min price than you do. So in order for you to win, your repricer needs to bring you down to the lowest price to win the buy box for you. So we would suggest, to source more strategically, and you could also set the min price more competitively. Now you might, come back to me and you say, well, I've already done my best. Well, then this is where the 80-20 rule comes in place. You want to see those products that are not really selling well, and you're not really getting much profit, and you might need to move on to other products, and those products might need to go. And if you still have a lot of stock of those products, you might need to put it on an AI sales maximizer to get rid of those products. The next question we have is from Tim, and Tim asks, why do the buy box sticks stick to one seller 95% for some products, even though other sellers are offering the same price and have as many 5-star reviews? Product reviews and seller feedback is different. Product reviews is on that ASIN. So for product reviews, they do not affect the buy box winning rate. So the buy box winning factors, including your price, the feedback, and from our research, is price, handling time, also fulfillment way. Then it goes into the other factors as well. So in your situation, you could provide a wider range, and then you could use the AI repricer to help you win the buy box from that competitor, because I'm assuming that you're not winning from your competitor. That's why you've asked this question. All right, next, we also have another question from Xiaoduan. And then Xiaoduan, the question to ask is, what's the best pricing strategy for Q4 toys and video games? So to answer your question, we answered it in several parts. It really depends on how much stock that you have and how popular the product that you're selling is going to be. So if you have a seasonal, very popular product, you can first set it as an AI profit booster. And then as the date comes closer to the end of the holidays, then you could actually switch to the AI sales maximizer for the products that you cannot get rid of. Okay, so that's some strategy that we recommend you. Next, let's talk a little bit about the business reports. So if you got some questions you want to ask, now would be a good time to start thinking about the questions and putting them into the chat so that we can answer you. Now, we got a brand new dashboard. Okay, so it's really cool. I'm just going to share my screen to show you that. So when you're in the dashboard now, you're going to see these different lines here. So now you're able to pick, which one are on the AI, and then which one is also on the rule base. And you could actually compare to see the difference for yourself. And what we found from our testing that we've done is that usually if you're on the AI rule, you have a much higher win percentage than when you're on rule base. So you can see that from the blue lines here. Compare that to the orange line. So now you can compare the different rules that you use. You can also compare specific rules. You can compare them after running them for a little while. So if you didn't have the success you have so far, then you can actually switch the rule, and you can actually test it out, and you can test it for a period of time, and you can compare the results. If you move down here, we actually have your best-selling products as well. So here you can see these are the top selling products based on sales. So for these products, you could actually go source more of these products. You can replenish those products if the quantity, you can see that, you have less than maybe 5, or you could actually go out and replenish those products. And these are the best selling products that is contributing the most to your sales. So we talked about the 80-20 rule. This is where we're talking about, going out to get more of these products to sell. There's also the best buy box win percentage. And these are the products that you're winning the buy box the most often. Okay, let's wait for it to just load a little bit on the screen. And these are the products that you have won with the buy box the most often. And you could go in, you can see, what rule did you set it on? So you could actually, use other similar type of products, and you can also set it based on that rule. And you can also see how did you set the min price and the max price. And this would be really good for you to use. Other options you have in reports, you can look at the daily sales. And this is just going to give you, an overview of what your daily sales is. And you can choose by the different options here. You can choose by day, by week, and also by month. So in here, you can actually, you can see what your buy box win percentage is. So some of the important factors, what your sales are, because everybody cares about the sales, what the average sales per order is. And you can also see, repricing. And what you're going to notice is that when you start using the AI repricer, it's going to reprice a lot more because it's going to, every time somebody changes the price and the AI is going to be very intelligent, it's going to try to reprice to try to get you that buy box, then compared to a rule base. And then you can also see other factors, how many listings you're competing against Amazon, how many are you competing against FBA. And so these are the daily sales. You're able to download this report as well. And you can compare the different factors. You can also go to listing performance here. And the listing performance, again, is going to give you all those factors. What's the estimated profits that you're earning from the product? What are the buy box win percentage? And all of these information, and you could do further analytics. You could click on the display here, which will also show you all the options that you can choose. So let's wait for a little bit. And the display is right under the Learn More button. And all of these is going to show up. Okay, so you can see what the lowest price win percentage is, the average offers. And the key thing for you is to look at the buy box win percentage, the sales, the average prices. And you can actually download these as well. So you can compare this, you could download the reports and you can see what percentage are you winning the buy box over this period of time compared to another period of time. And you can see what rule that you use for that. So this, download report option, this is for if you're on a higher tier plan, but this is very useful. You can actually see the performance. And then the dashboard here, another very cool thing, which is highly requested, is you can see which of your listings is not in the buy box. So for the listings that are not in the buy box, you can go in and see how can you make improvements for them to be in the buy box. So this is a very nice setting. You can see a listing overview, and that is in the dashboard here. Oh, and then there's also the price history. So for each of, you can actually go in and check the listing to see the price history, to see how that rule has performed, whether it has increased your price over time. And you can see that on the right-hand side. And we're going to give you a live example for you to understand. We're going to go into the second part for the Q&A section. If you have any questions about the repricing rules, this is the best place to ask them right now. Okay, I'm just going to take a look at some of the questions that have been asked. How do you keep your price FBM 1 penny less than the lowest FBA? So you can do that under rule base in the custom settings. And that would be when you're in a competition, which when I show you on the Amazon, so I'll just quickly show you that screen. Okay, so right here, if you want to, let's go back to the competitors here. And then if you want to pick, when you get the buy box, let's say your FBA versus FBM. Okay, so you can select when the competitor, you can select what you want to do. Let's say your FBA versus FBM. Maybe you want to have a higher than 5% because you're competing against FBM. You could also go by a penny as well if you want to do here. So you can go by a penny. But in our suggestion would be to use the AI repricer because the AI repricer will put that into consideration, and you might, and once it lowers it, it's also going to increase it for you as well. All right, let's go back to the questions that people are asking here. If I'm using bulk action and select all, does repricing only become active with the items only on the screen, or does it reprice all the items? Okay, I can't see the full question for here, but okay, this is a good question by Jesse. And the repricing only becomes active when you have the min, max, and rule. So when you do the bulk setting, it's going to see how many of the listings have already repriced, and you can actually check a report which shows you which ones has been published and which one needs some more work to do. Okay, why do some products not have a buy box at all? Okay, for the products that don't have buy box, that means it means that buy box has Amazon has determined that nobody deserves the buy box. Okay, because the price is not low enough, or for whatever reason, Amazon is not awarding anybody. Maybe the sellers on here are all new, and then they don't qualify to have the buy box. So for in this place, it's good to use. We have the setting for AI repricing to help you go in. Usually, you need to set the price lower in this example to get the buy box. Okay, so if you use the AI, it would determine how much lower you need to go to get the buy box, and then once it gets it, it would start raising it. It'll try to help you avoid being delisted, or help avoid losing the buy box for you. We're BQool. Stay connected and stay cool with your Amazon business. I'll see you in our next webinar.